and welcome to another KCVA training video. Today's discussion is going to be on funds. We will be covering what they are and their different classifications. This will just be a general overview. If you would like a more detailed explanation of what each fund is and what it is used for, please don't hesitate to email me at melissa.ford@ks.gov and I can send you a budget description with all of these details in it. So funds, what are they? The fund is the basic unit of classification for agency money. Money in a fund may be used for specific purposes as provided by law. The number and types of funds used by the state of Kansas are controlled by legislative and administrative action. And the funds that we receive are classified in several ways. For the purposes of this training, we will only be discussing the funds used by the KCVA. However, if you want a complete listing of state funds and in-depth details, look up Policy Manuals 4271, which is Fund Accounting, and Policy Manual 4272, Classification of Funds. I'll provide a link to each of these policies in the description of this video. The broad classification of funds are appropriated and non-appropriated or cash funds. For an appropriated fund, they're the funds for which the expenditure of resources requires prior statutory authority in the form of an appropriation. And so they are our state general fund and our state institutions building fund. They are for KSH, KVH, it'll be 0403. 0503 budget units, Fund 1000, and it's money that at the beginning of the year will receive an X amount, say $3 million, and then we have that fiscal year to use it. The next fiscal year it may roll over, it may not, but it's money that we have a predetermined amount of. Whereas for cash funds or non-appropriated funds, they are subject to expenditure limitations which are imposed through acts of legislature. Most often, the limit is set to $99 million, which enables us to expend the full amount of revenue. So there are going to be things like your fee fund, per diem, lottery. Although lottery, we only receive an X amount in at the beginning of the year, but it's treated like a cash fund. But most of those, we don't have any set limit on how much revenue we can bring in. Fee fund, we can bring in $1 million. We could bring in $10 million. They don't determine how much we receive. They determine how much we spend. But again, that cap is set at $99 million. The general fund is often referred to as SGF, which is an acronym for State General Fund. It is the appropriated fund I referred to earlier. Most of the time, when we receive money from the state, it will be deposited into this fund. It is to be used for general purchases, which are not already specified under other funds. Since the Special Revenue Funds category includes the funds for specific purposes, it is the designation that the vast majority of our funds fall into. The most notable are the fee funds, lottery, and per diem funds, as seen on this slide here. This slide will show all of the veteran home fee funds, soldiers home fee funds, the state grants. You can see on with the 3220, that's DOM per diems. I actually have a whole list of other funds and budget units and other SMART funding codes in an Excel workbook. And so if you would like that workbook, just let me know. Email me at melissa.ford@ks.gov and I'll get you the updated version. The trust and agency funds we currently have are utilized by veteran services and cemeteries. They include the Hometown Hero Fund, the Veteran War Era Fund, also known as the Medallion Fund, and the Cemetery Donations Fund. KCVA uses state institution building funds and capital project funds to maintain our facilities and grounds. These are typically designated for specific purposes that are pre-approved by the legislature prior to receiving the funds. These are used for things like the O&O fund. It's maintaining buildings, or sometimes we'll have a special project such as building a structure, or if we need to demo a structure or refacing a building, we'll go to the legislature and they'll approve an X amount. And so that's where these come from. This completes our funds overview. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at melissa.ford@ks.gov. The next video I plan on releasing will go over how to look up fund and budget unit balances within SMERT, so stay tuned.